大家好，我是 Jenny， 欢迎来到沉思者 J。 今天要说的这个女人，让好莱坞为她倾倒。她的脸出现在杂志封面上，她的电影票房让制片公司笑到合不拢嘴。当时所有人都说她是世界上最美丽的女人，但是这个世界不知道的是，她脑袋里藏着一个改变人类通讯的秘密。她叫做海蒂拉玛，她是好莱坞巨星，她也是跳频技术的共同发明人。今天 Wi-Fi、蓝牙、GPS 的底层逻辑都有她的影子。这个故事比任何电影都要精彩。1914年，海蒂拉玛出生在奥地利维也纳，她的本名叫做海德维希艾娃玛利亚齐斯勒，她的父亲是一位银行家。等等，我要自我更正，她的父亲是一位在金融机构工作的成功商人，母亲是钢琴家，出身匈牙利贵族家庭。海蒂从小就在艺术与知识的环境中长大，她的父亲特别喜欢带她去散步，他们一边走路，一边讨论各种机械装置的原理，路旁的印刷机、电车的运转系统、相机的快门机制。父亲告诉他，要理解这个世界，就要去弄懂它的运作方式。这些散步在小海蒂的心里种下了种子，一颗充满好奇心的种子。16岁那年，他开始涉足演艺圈。他在维也纳的剧院里学习，很快就引起导演注意。1933年，他在一部捷克电影里出演了一个大胆的角色。这部片子在欧洲引发了极大争议，也让他一夕成名。同年，她嫁给了奥地利的武器制造商弗里茨曼德尔。这段婚姻表面上看起来风光无限。曼德尔是奥地利最富有的商人之一，他在维也纳拥有豪宅，社交圈里都是政商名流。他甚至认识墨索里尼和希特勒。海蒂以妻子身份出席无数宴会与军事会议，他坐在那些男人中间，听他们讨论武器、导引技术、鱼雷系统。那些男人从来没有想到，这个美丽的女人不只是个花瓶。她在听，她在记，她在思考。但是婚姻带给她的不是幸福。曼德尔控制欲极强，把海蒂当作财产一样对待。海蒂不能自由行动，不能决定自己的事业，甚至不能自由社交。她开始计划逃脱。1937年，她终于找到机会。她乔装成女仆，趁着曼德尔不注意的时候溜出了豪宅。她辗转逃到英国，在那里遇见了好莱坞制片大亨路易斯·麦耶。麦耶当时正在欧洲寻访新面孔，他一眼就看出这个女人的潜力。但是海蒂在谈薪资时非常坚持，她不接受低于市场行情的条件。麦耶最终开出了优厚的条件。他跟着麦耶的船回到美国，在途中他把自己的艺名定为海蒂拉玛。1938年，他抵达好莱坞。好莱坞没有让他等太久，他的第一部大制作电影让他立刻成为超级明星。她的美貌让整个美国倾倒。1940年代，她的名字是全美最响亮的名字之一。她出演了数十部电影，与好莱坞最顶级的男演员搭档。但是每天晚上，在镁光灯褪去之后，海蒂回到家里做的事情让人想不到。她不喜欢派对，她不喜欢闲聊。她在自己的化妆台旁边设置了一个简单的工作室，那里有工具，有零件，有电路板。他在那里思考，在那里发明，在那里设计。朋友们都知道他有这个怪癖，但没有人把他当一回事。1940年，第二次世界大战打得正烈，德国的鱼型潜艇让同盟国头痛不已。那些潜艇用鱼雷攻击盟军舰艇，造成了惨重的损失。问题出在哪里呢？盟军虽然有无线电导引的鱼雷，但这些鱼雷的讯号很容易被敌方干扰。德军只要找到固定的无线电频率，就可以干扰讯号，让鱼雷偏离目标。海蒂的脑子开始转动了，他想到了自己在那些军事宴会上听到的种种讨论，他想到了从维也纳逃脱前夕偷听到的技术细节，然后他想到了一个关键的比喻：钢琴。一架钢琴有88个键，如果通讯讯号像弹奏钢琴一样，不固定在某个频率上，而是在不同频率之间快速跳跃，那么敌人就无法锁定并干扰它了。 他把这个想法说给作曲家乔治安塞尔听。安塞尔是他的朋友，也是一个思维非常前卫的艺术家。他曾经创作过一首需要16架同步播放的自动钢琴才能演奏的现代音乐作品。他对同步与多频道的概念有着天然的直觉。两个人一拍即合，他们开始合作设计一个系统。这个系统让鱼雷发射器和接收器使用同一套频率跳跃规律，两端同步切换频率，就算敌人试图干扰，也无法锁定所有频率。这个概念就是跳频技术的雏形。1942年，海蒂拉玛和乔治安塞尔取得了美国专利，专利号码2427172。他们把这个专利无偿贡献给美国政府，只希望它能帮助盟军赢得战争。然而，美国海军当时对这项技术没有太大兴趣，技术人员认为实作起来太复杂，那个年代的电子技术还做不到高速跳频，专利就这样被束之高阁。20年过去了，1960年代，技术进步了，工程师们重新回头看这个早已过了保护期的专利，他们发现这个概念非常超前。美国海军开始把跳频技术应用在舰艇通讯上。1962年的古巴飞弹危机期间，跳频技术已经在美军的舰艇上运行了，但是海蒂已经无法从中获得任何利益。他的专利在1959年就已经到期，没有人为他的贡献致谢。他的名字没有出现在任何技术文献的封面上，世界只记得她是好莱坞女神。60年代，海蒂淡出了好莱坞，她嫁了6次，每一段婚姻都不顺利。她在公众视野中逐渐消失。晚年的她住在佛罗里达，生活相对简单，偶尔有记者去访问她，她也只是轻描淡写地回答问题。1997年，情况改变了，电子前锋基金会决定要为她平反。这个捍卫数位自由的组织发现了她的故事，深受感动。他们把先锋奖颁给了海蒂拉玛。那一年，她已经83岁。这是他一生中第一次以技术发明者的身份获得认可。据说当他接到电话，得知获奖消息时，他在电话里说，这件事早就应该发生了。这句话说得轻巧，背后却是50年的等待。1999年，也有一件值得一提的事情。德国的一位工程师在整理技术史料时，重新追溯了跳频技术的源头。他发表了一篇文章，让更多技术社群的人了解海蒂的贡献。他的故事开始在工程师和科技人之间口耳相传。20年代，他的故事被更多人知道，有纪录片，有传记，有各种媒体报道。有一部纪录片就叫做《炸弹女孩》，这个片名来自她年轻时在电影里饰演的角色，但也有一种双关的意味。她确实是一枚炸弹，在科技史上悄悄地引爆。今天，跳频技术是现代无线通讯的基础之一。Wi-Fi、GPS、3G、4G、5G， 这些你每天都在使用的技术，都与跳频技术有直接或间接的关联。每次你用手机连上 Wi-Fi， 讯号在不同频道之间快速切换，确保连线稳定且不被轻易干扰。这背后的逻辑，正是海蒂和安塞尔在1942年提出的那个想法。有一个数字可以帮助我们理解他的贡献有多庞大。全球每年无线通讯产业的总产值估计超过2兆美元。这个庞大产业的基石之一，源自一个好莱坞女演员在她的化妆台旁边搭建的小工作室里诞生的灵感。让我们再回头想想她的故事。她出生在维也纳，从小接受良好教育，培养出对机械原理的好奇心。她嫁给了一个武器商人，在那些枯燥的宴会上，她没有在瞎聊，她在吸收军事技术的知识。她逃离了那段婚姻，跑到好莱坞，成为全美最有名的脸孔之一。但是在聚光灯之外，她一直在思考，一直在发明。她的脑袋从来没有停过。海蒂拉玛的故事给我们一个很重要的提示：我们太习惯用一个标签来定义一个人了。她是女演员，所以她应该只懂得表演。她是美女，所以她应该只懂得保养皮肤。这些偏见是多么可笑，又多么昂贵。因为有这些偏见，她的技术贡献被埋没了几十年。这个世界因此晚了几十年才能充分发展和应用跳频技术。她曾经说过一句话： 大意是说，任何足够聪明的女孩都可以扮演一个迷人的角色，但是要做个聪明的女孩才更有趣。她既扮演了迷人的角色，也成为了那个更有趣的聪明女孩。她把这两件事都做到了。2000年1月，海蒂拉玛在佛罗里达的家中安静地离世。她85岁。她的儿子说，她走得很平静。2014年，她诞生100周年。奥地利为她发行了纪念邮票，维也纳为她举办了展览。她的名字被冠在若干技术奖项和奖学金上面。但是我想说的是，纪念一个人最好的方式，不是邮票，不是展览，而是真正理解她的故事。理解一个在错误时代、错误性别、错误身份下，仍然没有停止思考的女人。理解那个在宴会上假装社交，实际上在吸收军事技术的年轻妻子。理解那个在好莱坞巅峰时期，仍然夜夜守在工作台旁边搞发明的女演员。理解那个把改变通讯史的专利无偿捐给国家，却没有得到任何回报的科学家。她的故事不只是一个关于被埋没天才的故事，它更是一个关于好奇心的故事。关于那种不管外界怎么定义你，你依然去做你认为重要的事情的那种精神。世界给了她女神的头衔，她自己选择了发明家的使命，她两者都完成了。海蒂拉玛，1914到2000年，好莱坞女神，跳频技术的发明者，现代无线通讯的幕后英雄，一个永远比世界的想象走得更前面的女人。感谢你今天陪我走过这段故事，我们下次见咯。Hello everyone, I'm Jenny. Welcome to Thinker J. There was a woman who made Hollywood fall to its knees. Her face appeared on magazine covers. Her films made studio executives rich. Everyone said she was the most beautiful woman in the world. But what the world did not know was that inside that famous head, she was hiding a secret that would one day change the way all of humanity communicates. Her name was Hedy Lamarr. She was a Hollywood superstar. She was also the co-inventor of frequency hopping technology. The underlying logic behind today's Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS all carry her fingerprints. This story is more fascinating than any film she ever made. Hedy Lamarr was born in 1914 in Vienna, Austria. Her birth name was Hedwig Eva Maria Kiesler. Her father was a successful businessman in the financial world. Her mother was a pianist from a Hungarian aristocratic family. Hedy grew up surrounded by art and intellectual curiosity. Her father had a special habit that shaped her deeply. He loved taking her on long walks through the city. As they walked, he explained how things worked. The printing presses on the street corner. The tram system running through the city. The mechanical shutter of a camera. He told her that to understand the world, you had to understand how it operated. Those walks planted a seed inside young Hedy. A seed of insatiable curiosity. At 16, she began to explore the world of performance. She trained at theaters in Vienna and quickly caught the attention of directors. In 1933, she appeared in a Czech film that created enormous controversy across Europe. The film made her famous overnight. That same year, she married Fritz Mandl, an Austrian arms manufacturer. The marriage looked glamorous from the outside. Mandl was one of the wealthiest men in Austria. He owned grand estates in Vienna. His social circle included powerful politicians and military figures. He even had connections with Mussolini and Hitler. Hedy attended countless dinners and military meetings as his wife. She sat among those men as they discussed weapons systems, guidance technology, and torpedo mechanics. Those men never imagined that the beautiful woman sitting beside them was anything more than decoration. But she was listening. She was memorizing. She was thinking. The marriage, however, brought her no happiness. Mandl was deeply controlling and treated her like property. She could not move freely, could not make decisions about her own career, and could not socialize on her own terms. She began planning her escape. In 1937, she finally found her moment. She disguised herself as a servant, slipped out of the mansion while Mandl was occupied, and made her way to England. There she encountered Louis B. Mayer, the powerful Hollywood studio chief who was touring Europe looking for new talent. Mayer recognized her potential instantly. But Hedy was a tough negotiator. She refused to accept anything below market rate. Mayer eventually offered her generous terms. She sailed back to America on his ship, and during the voyage she chose her stage name, Hedy Lamarr. She arrived in Hollywood in 1938. Hollywood did not keep her waiting long. Her first major production made her an instant sensation. Her beauty captivated the entire country. Through the 1940s, her name was among the most recognized in America. She appeared in dozens of films alongside the biggest male stars of the era. But every evening, after the cameras stopped and the spotlights went dark, Hedy went home and did something no one expected. She did not enjoy parties. She did not enjoy small talk. She had set up a small workshop beside her dressing table. Tools, components, circuit boards. She would sit there and think, and design, and invent. Her friends knew about this habit, but none of them took it seriously. In 1940, the Second World War was raging. German U-boats were causing devastating losses for the Allied forces. Those submarines used torpedoes to attack Allied ships, and the results were catastrophic. The problem was this. The Allies had radio-guided torpedoes, but the signals could be jammed. German forces simply needed to find the fixed radio frequency being used and they could disrupt the guidance signal, sending the torpedo off course. Hedy's mind began to turn. She thought back to those military dinners in Vienna. She thought about the technical details she had absorbed during her years as Mandel's wife. And then she arrived at a key analogy. A piano. A piano has 88 keys. What if a communication signal worked like a piano performance, jumping rapidly between different frequencies rather than staying fixed on one? If the transmitter and receiver were synchronized to hop between frequencies together, an enemy trying to jam the signal would never be able to lock onto it. She shared this idea with her friend George Antheil, an avant-garde composer. Antheil was unconventional in the best possible way. He had once composed a piece of modern music that required 16 synchronized player pianos to perform simultaneously. He had an instinctive understanding of synchronization and multi-channel systems. The two of them immediately recognized they were thinking about the same kind of problem. They began designing the system together. The concept called for the torpedo transmitter and receiver to use the same sequence of frequency hops. Both ends would switch frequencies in perfect synchrony. Even if an enemy tried to jam one frequency, the signal would have already moved on to the next. This concept was the foundation of what we now call frequency hopping spread spectrum technology. In 1942, Hedy Lamarr and George Antheil received a United States patent. The patent number was 2,427,172. They donated the patent to the U.S. government without charge. They simply wanted it to help the Allies win the war. The U.S. Navy, however, showed little interest at the time. Engineers felt the system was too complicated to implement with existing technology. The electronics of that era could not achieve the rapid frequency switching the system required. The patent was filed away and forgotten. 20 years passed. By the 1960s, technology had advanced. Engineers went back and looked at this long-expired patent. They realized the concept was extraordinarily ahead of its time. The U.S. Navy began applying frequency hopping technology to ship communications. During the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, frequency hopping systems were already operational on U.S. naval vessels. But by then, Hedy could no longer benefit financially. Her patent had expired in 1959. No one sent her a letter of thanks. Her name did not appear on the cover of any technical journal. The world remembered her only as a Hollywood goddess. In the 1960s, Hedy faded from Hollywood. She married 6 times in total, and none of those marriages lasted. She gradually disappeared from public life. In her later years she lived quietly in Florida. Occasionally a journalist would visit, and she would answer questions with calm understatement. In 1997, things began to change. The Electronic Frontier Foundation decided it was time to set the record straight. This organization dedicated to protecting digital freedom had discovered her story and was deeply moved by it. They awarded her their Pioneer Award. She was 83 years old. It was the first time in her life that she had been officially recognized as a technology inventor. When she received the phone call telling her about the award, she reportedly said that this was long overdue. She said it lightly. But behind those words was 50 years of waiting. In 1999, a German engineer tracing the history of wireless technology published an article retracing the origins of frequency hopping. Her story began to travel through engineering and technology communities. People started to realize what the world had missed. In the early 2000s, her story reached wider audiences. Documentaries were made. Biographies were written. There was a documentary called Bombshell, a title that worked on 2 levels. She had played that kind of role in films. But she was also genuinely explosive in the history of technology, a delayed detonation that changed the world decades after the fuse was lit. Today, frequency hopping technology is one of the foundations of modern wireless communication. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, 3G, 4G, 5G. All of the technologies you use every single day have a direct or indirect connection to the principles she helped establish. Every time your phone connects to Wi-Fi and the signal hops rapidly between channels to stay stable and resist interference, the underlying logic traces back to the idea that Hedy and Antheil proposed in 1942. Here is one number that helps us understand the scale of her contribution. The global wireless communications industry generates an estimated $2 trillion in annual value. One of the foundational concepts of that vast industry was born in the small workshop beside a Hollywood movie star's dressing table. Let us go back and look at her life as a whole. She was born in Vienna, received an excellent education, and developed a deep curiosity about how mechanical systems worked. She married an arms dealer and sat through interminable military dinners, but instead of tuning out, she absorbed everything she could about weapons technology and guidance systems. She escaped that marriage, fled to Hollywood, and became one of the most recognized faces in America. But beyond the spotlight, she never stopped thinking, never stopped inventing. Her mind was always at work. The story of Hedy Lamarr carries a very important message for all of us. We are far too comfortable using a single label to define a person. She was an actress, so she must only understand acting. She was beautiful, so she must only care about her appearance. How laughable those assumptions are, and how costly. Because of those assumptions, her technological contribution was buried for decades. The world was decades slower in fully developing and deploying frequency hopping technology. She once said something that captured her spirit perfectly. The meaning was this: any girl who is clever enough can play a glamorous character, but it is far more interesting to actually be clever. She did both. She played the glamorous character with extraordinary success. And she was genuinely, profoundly clever in ways that would outlast every film she ever made. On January 19, 2000, Hedy Lamarr passed away quietly at her home in Florida. She was 85 years old. Her son said she went peacefully. In 2014, her centenary was marked across the world. Austria issued a commemorative stamp in her honor. Vienna hosted exhibitions celebrating her life. Her name was attached to technology awards and scholarships. But I believe the best way to honor someone is not through stamps or exhibitions. It is to truly understand their story. To understand a woman who lived in the wrong era, the wrong gender category, the wrong professional identity, and yet never stopped thinking. To understand the young wife who pretended to socialize at military dinners while actually cataloging everything she heard about weapons guidance systems. To understand the actress at the peak of her Hollywood fame who spent her evenings alone at her workbench, tinkering and designing. To understand the scientist who donated a communications patent that would change the world to her adopted country, and received nothing in return for decades. Her story is not simply a story about buried genius. It is a story about curiosity. About the spirit that keeps moving forward regardless of how the world chooses to define you. The world gave her the title of goddess. She chose the mission of inventor for herself. She completed both. Hedy Lamarr, 1914 to 2000. Hollywood legend. Co-inventor of frequency hopping spread spectrum technology. The unsung hero of modern wireless communication. A woman who was always further ahead than the world imagined possible. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. See you next time.